Welcome to the Photos by Ryan vlog. My name is Corinne.
And I'm Catherine.
Today in this video, we are going to talk about paper types. So what are the different types of paper that people can print their photos on?
So there happens to be a lot right now, lots of different types. So the first that everybody is pretty familiar with is a glossy, and you can kind of see how shiny that is. But glossy is your traditional, what you would go down to the store and get. So, you know, Walgreens, Costco. If you don't tell them you want something else, this is what you're going to get, is a glossy. So that's the most common type, and that's the one people are most used to seeing. The next type is a matte, or a lot of places are calling them luster now, because they're not as muted as they used to be. But this is what we typically print in here at the studio, because we intend our prints to end up under glass, whether that's a 5x7 that's sitting on a desk in a little frame, or a big print like this that's going up in a frame on a wall. And so you want a luster print or a matte print if you're going to put it under glass, so you don't get that same shine that's underneath the glass that's going to double that shine and make it really hard to see. So that's why we do the luster prints here. But there's also a lot more. So you could do a luster print with a UV coating on it, which is what this is. You can see it's a little less shiny than the last one. That just gives it, I would say, a little more protection, but if you're putting it under glass, it's going to be protected anyway. But just changes the picture a little bit, gives a little less of the shine. It's a little more like the traditional matte print. Then there are textured prints. So I know you can't see the difference here, but this actually has a texture laid on top of it. It's a linen texture. So it's going to look kind of like a canvas without really being a canvas, without having to have the wood and all that and the expense of a canvas. It just gives you a little bit of that texture. You get even more. This is called a pebble texture. So it's when you feel it, you can feel that there's even more of a texture to it. And again, it just changes the look a little bit, because once you start putting texture behind something, you are changing the way that the lines work. So they're not going to be a straight line anymore. They're going to be a little bit often wobbly because you've got that texture behind it. You get into an even more, this is a true canvas texture. So it has the cross lines both ways, and it's going to look the most like a canvas while being still a print. And then you have metallic papers, and if you can see that, it is super shiny. It makes all of the colors in the picture really pop out, but it takes a special print to go on the metallic. Metallic is definitely not for every picture, because it changes the colors. It changes the way that the color looks. So in this picture, if you look at a traditional glossy versus the metallic, you see that the greens in there are a different, they're almost like a see-through, so it's a little bit off in the coloring.
Almost like a hologram kind of.
Yeah, so it just, there's certain colors that really shine, let the metal shine through, and there's others that don't. And so when you get that, you just get that different texture or look to the colors of the picture. So you really got to be careful what you use the metallics for. I know that they are popular for single prints, but like I would not recommend doing an entire album in the metallic. We made that mistake once. Oh, not exactly the best look. So that's the different paper types. I did want to kind of talk just a little bit about albums as well. So in your albums, you're gonna get some of those same options. So this is a luster, and you can see that the colors are just a little bit different. They're just slightly muted. When you get to a darker, like a green page, you can see that it's beautiful coloring, but it's not bright and vibrant. Some people really love the matte, and that's the color, the kind of look they're going for. But then you can also do the glossy, or as I said, the metallic. So this is the same book, bigger, but in the glossy, and you can see the reds are really nice and shiny. You get to that green page, and those greens are just popping off the page. So colored stuff looks really good when you pop it off. Blacks, whites, darks, lights, when you get that heavy contrast, the mattes are going to look just a little bit better. And it's, of course, just by preference. There's some people who absolutely love the glossy, like myself. This is my preference. And then there's some clients I have who just absolutely go gaga over the matte, and that's just their personal preference. That's the look that they love. So, but it's nice to know that there's these options, even in your album, that you can make choices and make it your own.
That's really nice. There's a lot of ways to, even though the pictures are really unique to you, but you can also then do really unique things on the medium that you're printing on as well. And then typically for weddings, then do you suggest the glossy, or just does it kind of depend on?
It's completely up to the client. So I will show them both options and say, so here's what it looks like. And it's nice that I have the same album in the two different types, because I'll lay them both side by side and say, here you go, this is what they look like. And then I show them real albums, both in the glossy and the matte, and say, it's completely up to you. What do you like better? And it's funny, but it's usually very like, I like this one. I like this one. There's usually not a lot of waffling. You're pushed towards one or the other, and that's just your preference type. So it's kind of funny to see which clients are like, oh, I love this one, or oh, I love that one. So
I'm sure there's times where you're like, oh, they're going to want it, and they're going to want this one, and then they come in and pick the other one, and you're like, yep, I totally missed that one.
Yeah, oh yeah, I have that definitely. So I try not to guess anymore. I let my clients pick.
That's really nice that there's so many different options just in papers as well to really display your photos however you want them displayed, which is super fun. So, well, that's great. We'll be talking about some more mediums in some future videos as well, so stay tuned. So if you do have any more questions about anything we've talked about today, you can always reach out to Photos by Orion. They're at photosbyorion.com. You can reach out on Facebook or Instagram, or also the telephone.
Yeah, at 503-385-1435. Get to talk to me.
You do.
Or email at contact@photosbyorion.com.